Oh my gosh.
Faith and Darren Gordon are still coming to terms with seeing their house destroyed by bushfire.
It's just as shocking as it was in the beginning. You know, I don't think until it's cleaned up and gone from here, it's going to be really hard to come here and have to look at it all the time.
They lost everything in the Cobra Bowl fire in central Queensland last month and realise now they could have been better prepared.
I mean, in retrospect, we think about it, and this place really had a lot of fuel for fire, and we just want to make sure that we don't get into that situation again.
The couple will rebuild, but the fire threat will be a new consideration. Their next house will have sprinklers and a pump to draw water from their pool to fight fire.
We've decided to not have any gardens around the house. Obviously, steel frame is going to be the way to go. We love this property and we want to stay. We just want to make it safer for us to stay in.
If they're rebuilding, really rethink of the whole idea that they might have a veranda deck, you know, propped up in the bush. We really need to work beyond that kind of logic.
Research architect Dr Ian Weir is calling for stricter building codes to ensure houses are built to withstand the most extreme fire conditions. At the moment, legislation only applies to certain areas.
It's only Victoria, the ACT, non-alpine regions and then areas of New South Wales where we're actually designing houses to catastrophic conditions.
The architect co-designed the Carry Firehouse in the West Australia town of Denmark for professional firefighter Michael Osmer and his wife Shauna. Built 6 years ago, the house is made out of non-combustible materials.
If we want to go away in summer, we can just close everything up, make sure everything's across, and we know the house has got a very good chance of still being here if something happens while we're not here.
The front of the house is covered in a metal mesh, which protects the glass from heat and ember attack.
The idea with the Carry Firehouse is let's put the innovation into the house rather than the management into the landscape, and understanding that the house has to function on a daily basis, and so it's going to be maintained.
Our efforts really should improve in mitigation and building better infrastructure, and that means better town planning and better housing developments that are more resilient.
Retired Queensland Fire Commissioner Lee Johnson is one of several former fire chiefs lobbying the federal government to do more on climate change and the increased fire risk. He says Australians need to change the way they live.
We've had already a record loss of homes in New South Wales and a record loss for homes in Queensland. So it's pretty alarming, and it means that fire and emergency service people are right on the front lines of climate change.
Fire ecologist Professor David Bowman says drought has meant a longer and more intense fire season.
Vegetation types that are normally too moist to burn or rarely dry enough to burn are becoming a lot more available to burning. And this is going to be a complete game changer in the way we think about bushfires in Australia.
Debate is now turning to how best to manage fire and fuel loads.
Many people make the mistake that it's the fire service's responsibility to burn. It's not. We don't own any land. The land management agencies do, and there's quite also a degree of conflict between landholders, farmers and government agencies. So that needs to be better coordinated.
For those on the front line now, the threat is far from over. There's still a long way to go in what's already been a destructive and deadly fire season.